Hello, this is Valalar. Today I'm going to show you a quick demo of the Texas Gardeners bot that I developed. This you can access this from within your Telegram app by just starting a chat with at txgardenbot. So I'm going to touch this link to start a new conversation with it. So now I am having a conversation with Texas Garden Bot. So I touch the start at the bottom of the screen here. So once I touch that, it issues a command /start. Um, this brings me a menu of my garden, plant information, month, care, search, and exit. So I'm going to go straight to plant information first. So I'm going to touch on plant information. It brings up a list of plants that I already have in the system. So I'm going to see like what information we have about garlic. So we have garlic is a plant, companion plants of broccoli, cauliflower, lettuce, strawberry, tomatoes. It has to be planted away from beans and peas. And is it a insect repellent? Yes. Schedule is like fall only. We plant in the fall and we plant it as a close, not seeds. Planting time is September 15th to October 15th. So basic information. So again, we don't have a menu here, so I'm going to go touch this start, issue the start command again. And now I'm going to go to the next menu option, My Garden. So here I'm going to track the activities and see all the activities. So the activities button lets me track the daily activities that I have done in my garden, and the history basically shows me all the activities that previously I have tracked. Patio garden is it in development, and the backyard is also it in development. These two buttons will give more information about how to build a patio garden or like how to build a backyard garden. So let me go to the activities first. So I'm going to go to the activities. It brings up a new menu: planting, watering, fertilizing, pesticides, harvest, and exit. So to start, I have to do a planting. I have to plant a plant. So I touch this. So here are the 10, 11 plants that I have in the database, and we can keep adding more to this list of plants. So I'm going to plant eggplant today. So let me touch eggplant, and it brings me some basic information about eggplant. It says eggplant successfully planted. I have to water every 2 days, add manure every 14 days, spray pest control every 21 days, and harvest 60 days. Um, I'm going to go back to activities and plant one more plant here. I'm going to do basil, plant basil. So basil, it said like basil successful, water every 3 days, add manure every 14 days, spray pest control every 14 days, harvest every 30 days. Now this time it brought back the rest of the plants, and this is the way it should be. It should bring back the rest of the plants that you have not planted yet and give you more option to choose to plant on that day. So this how the usual things. Now I'm going to plant onion today, and it gave me information about onion here. Onion successful, water every 2 days, add manure every 14 days, spray pest control every 21 days, harvest every 60 days. I'm going to plant chilies as well. Let me plant some carrots. So I planted carrots. So these are 3 plants that I planted today. So I have those 3 done, and I'm going to touch the done button to get back to the menu. Your activity log is complete. Now it keeps jumping back to the menu, or like it's probably like closing the menu and like getting out, but I have to check like what's going on there, but usually it should bring this menu back. So I'm going to go back to activities, and now I'm going to go and water the plants that I planted today. So I'm going to water, track an activity for water. So this menu should bring all the plants that I planted. And you see basil, onion, and carrot in the bottom of the list. So those are the recent plants that I planted. So the oldest plant that I planted will be on the top, and the recent one will be on the bottom of the list. So now I'm going to water basil, and so now it brings me a small menu which basically is giving me how many minutes did I water this plant. So I'm going to say like 3 minutes I watered basil today. Now the basil is gone from the list because I already watered. So I'm going to water onion, and again, like let's say 3 minutes. Um, Onion is gone from the list. So carrots, and I'm going to say 2 minutes for carrots. And carrots is gone from the list. You also have a all option in the beginning of the plant list. So if you touch all, it's going to say, okay, I watered all the plants. The one thing that I don't have is if I touch all, I don't get to specify the number of minutes that I watered for the plants. So that is, the future development. So once I'm done watering, I can touch this done button. I should go back to the previous menu. Now I can do additional activities like fertilize. I'm going to fertilize the plants that I planted here today. Maybe I'll fertilize the ones that I planted earlier. So I'm going to fertilize the beans here. It's going to ask me how much fertilizer I used. So I'm going to say I used quarter pounds of fertilizer today on these beans. And I'm going to fertilize eggplant as well. And again, like quarter pounds. So if you look at here, it keeps track of all the um, activity that I have done. It shows like watering basil, onion, carrot, beans, and eggplant. Um, I keep having to go back using the menu, but it shouldn't do that. It should come back to this menu and like stay here. So I can do pesticides similarly. Again, like spray some pesticides to the okra plant. It's going to ask me how much pesticide used. I'm going to say like quarter pounds, might be. It's going to give like track and say pesticide, and like if I want to do additional pesticide, I can do, or like I can say all here as well. I can say done, go back to the previous menu. The next option I have is harvest. So this is another activity that I can track. So harvest, I have basil which I planted early on, so I'm going to harvest some from there. One thing that I do not have specifically is like I cannot harvest everything, all of them in one shot. Like I cannot say like all and say that. So I'm going to harvest some basil, and it's going to ask me how much I harvested in terms of weight. So I'm going to say half a pound of basil that I harvested. Uh, so basil is now gone from the list. So I'm going to probably harvest some okra today, and I'm going to say half a pound of okra again. So you see like above the buttons you see like pesticide, okra quarter pound, um, harvest basil half a pound, harvest okra half a pound. So I'm tracking all these things. So now I'm done with harvesting, so I can say done, my activity is complete. um, and at this point it should actually show me the menu, but that's okay. I have to go back and check. So I'm coming back to the main menu. Now I'm going to go and see the history of like all the activities that I've done. 325, that is today. So I'm going to touch that and see like all the activities that I've done. So these are the activities that I've done on 325. So eggplant planted, okra planted, eggplant planted, basil planted, onions, carrots planted. I watered basil, onion, and carrots for those minutes. Beans I have fertilized, eggplant I have fertilized quarter pound each. Okra I have put some pesticide, quarter pounds. Basil and okra I have harvested, half a pound each. So I want to see like what did I do yesterday. 324. I have watered chili and okra. 323. I have planted basil. 322. I have planted carrot. I can go back to older tasks. So see the bottom most is the navigation here. I have where you can go back to the previous dates all the way up to the date that you data that you have or when you actually started using the app. So 3.1, what did I do? I have actually watered basic. 2.18, I watered onion. 3.3, I have oops, it went back. So I'll go back on the menu. Maybe the system is not so using the bottom navigation, I can keep going back and forth between all these dates of the history. So I can navigate through the dates and like see what I did. So on 3.16, I have put some pesticide on eggplant, 0 pounds, and probably a little bit something. And 3.20, I have harvested basil 1 pound and a quarter pound, 1.25 pound. So I can navigate all the way through to the current date, which is 3.25, which is like where I've done a lot of activity. I don't know why it keeps going back, but so anyways, so now the done button, once I touch the done button, it should put me back to the previous menu and where I can go and see some more activities or do something. So click exit. It should take me to say your logging activity is complete and get me out of the system. So that's a quick view of what we have so far in this bot. So try it out and please post your comments. You can also test this bot from your in the group. So have a good day and enjoy gardening.